Hello, and welcome to Time to Talk, a show where we simply sit down and talk about whatever comes up. In this episode, we sit down with 3 former coworkers turned friends. We listen as they share with us the lessons they've accepted, digested, and then shared with those who are willing to receive.
We're not going to be on camera, are we?
Nope.
Okay, cool.
Okay, but
I
this
love
far
that.
down. Clip.
Yeah, about this
Sure,
far.
or we got a lanyard if you want.
Hey, you want a lanyard?
I did it to my hoodie.
That works
I'm not
too.
wearing a hoodie.
Sorry,
That's,
you're going to get a lot of awkward shit from us.
I think that's what our listeners want.
Okay.
So my only request is you be completely organic, fun, sad, happy, glad, mad, all of the things.
Oh, you'll get
Just
that from
totally
us.
organic.
Can I cuss on this thing, or is that okay? Okay.
Organic.
Okay, yeah. I said someone earlier how we just it up, like we're just prone to it up. Oh my gosh, it's horrible. It's horrible.
Thank you, everyone, for showing up. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Very soon, all of the equipment will melt away, and it'll just stop being a present, except for this. But we just talk about whatever comes up. If it pops in your brain, get it out. Let's talk about it, whatever it might be. We had a wonderful conversation that could have been a whole episode before anybody else came in.
We did.
Yeah,
We talked about therapy today and what I learned in therapy. Actually, I'm going to make you copies of what I got. You'll love it.
Did you hear someone honk at you by the courthouse today?
What time was it?
It was around 11 o'clock.
Probably not. That's when I was on my way to therapy.
I was right behind you in the van, and I
Okay.
honked at you.
I was
And I
on my-
knew it was you because you had the GPS on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's she doesn't know Worcester.
I probably don't know what the hell I was doing. I know I was on my way to therapy and I was having an attack of sorts. So
Yeah.
I was freaking the f- out. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Well, freaking out is something that we do from time to time.
Oh
you
my
know?
gosh, yeah.
And I think it's far more normal and common than any of us, or in my old life anyways, I would have wanted to pretend. I always had show cards. I had a facade. I had something I put up in front so that you'd think I was super cool and awesome and rich.
Smoke
and,
screen.
Yeah. All my masks.
Yeah.
And really, all the time, I was freaking out. Can you relate to that?
Yeah, so I think recently, like, my freaking out has looked, like, different than what it did whenever I was using. Like, when I was using, it was extreme freakouts, very violent, belligerent, all over the place. Recently, it's just been like, when I'm done, I'm done. And that's my freak out. Like, I'm going to cry about it a lot. I'm going to cry in the most probably inappropriate places to cry because that's what anger looks like for me now is like sadness. It's so weird because before, all I knew was anger. And now all of my anger, my frustration turns into tears. So it's weird getting used to that.
It's a healthy outlet. It's a healthy get it out of your system.
Yeah. Yeah. It's cleansing.
I mean, not that I cry. That's ridiculous.
Oh, why would you
but-
cry? You're too tough to cry.
I mean, that's cool for you. Love that for you.
Is that a mask?
Listen, I'm working on it. I'm working on the.
Oh my
I
gosh.
conditioned myself to not cry.
Mm-hmm.
So we're working on it.
Listen, when we all worked together, I remember like I would get emotional and I'd start crying or whatever and would just be so like, it's okay.
Oh.
They're there.
Like if I
shit,
could
no,
have
it's
gotten
no-
a broom. It's like the meme. And it's, they're there.
was so understanding.
I
Like
know.
that look of compassion. Like I'm there with you and like they're there across the
Like
room.
holding in every inappropriate joke that I could possibly make because I need to fix the situation. I need you to not feel the way you feel because I don't like it.
Right.
I am uncomfortable.
Yeah.
The 5 stages of grief: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And when you talk about your anger moving into sadness, into crying, that's how I get angry now. That's what it looks like. It reminds me of the healing stages of everything.
Yeah.
And so where would you say that fits in? The anger coming out as sadness, as crying, denial, anger, bargaining, depression, or acceptance?
I feel like I go through every single one of those, like the bargaining, like, okay, so maybe I should compromise my happiness and like what I have going on because now you're calling me trying to make me feel bad. Or then I'm depressed, like the not wanting to get out of bed. Oh my gosh, that was like months. Like that was months. And I think I'm out of that point now of depression. Like I actually get up the first time my alarm goes off.
Oh, I don't.
And you know what? It's so weird because I am a snooze button queen, but ever since I kind of freed myself from a situation, I noticed I did that. I started reading my morning readings again. Like I'm having a morning before my day starts. That cup of coffee, that quiet time, that morning reading, all of those things. But the bargaining, I feel that. I was doing that yesterday. I was really doing that yesterday with a situation that I'm going through. But you know what? What I realized through everything is how freaking tough am I? Like, that is incredible that I did not have to resort in picking up a drink, picking up a drug. I'm a week away from having 5 years.
You sure are.
5 years of my life has been happy, joyous, and free.
Mm-hmm.
Even though these last couple months have been tough and like we all fight our fight, like an individual that was sharing at the meeting tonight, like that fight, heartbreaking. And it gave me gratitude because I'm like, wow, what I'm going through isn't that. Not that my is less important than that situation because we all go through stuff. But it made me grateful that I'm capable of handling myself in a different light today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think it's cool for me to, and I'm sure you too, that a year and a half ago, this is not the person that was sitting with us. This is absolutely not the person that was sitting with us.
Child's play, huh?
And I know for me, I am not that person a year and a half ago. I know you're not.
Right.
None of us are that person, but I think it's, we talk about it, you said what courage, how tough are you? How many times have we had the conversation of, you are literally growing up in recovery. Like, that is insane that somebody can do. And I think there was a point, I don't know if you know, there was a point we did not like each other very much.
It was very clear.
It was, it was a very unsaid line. She doesn't like me, I don't like her. It's fine. We had to coexist.
Yeah.
And because of recovery, the program she works, the program I work, the way we work the program, is just an acceptance one day that it was like, all right, get over it. But like hearing you talk today, right now, thinking back to that time, I think there was a part of me that was jealous. Real life, like, oh, how can she do that? Like, I couldn't have done that. You were getting sober at the age prior to me ever taking my first drink. Like, and I'm like, what? Who does, how? And I get this real, it's an envy. It's an envy of, oh, I want what she has, but I can't want what she has because she's da 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 da. Because I wasn't able to separate, like, I can want something you have, but also not want something you have. Like, you were very loud and abrasive, and that very much threw me off.
I yelled in Tina's ear.
She yelled in my ear.
It was so funny. Like, looking back on it.
She screamed in my ear. I had to go home early because it sent me in, like, I have a sensory issue and it sent me. Like, I had to go in a small room and close myself in. Finally, I was like, I have to go. I can't.
I am in her car, in her space, right? And I'm just making it my own. And like I do. And it is like.
She saw somebody she hadn't seen in forever. She leaned over to yell at them through my window. I was like, you got a seizure. I'm like, oh. I said, if you could never do that in my car again, that'd be amazing. I may have said an F word in there. I don't know. I panicked. But, I think back to those times and I'm like, part of it was envious and jealousy of the strength, the courage, the bravery it takes to do what you've done at the age that you are. I didn't come in until I was 35. And I'm like, dang, what if I could have done that? And I think along the way somewhere it was like, shut up. Like, get some benefit out of this. Like, quit being jealous and green and envious. And if you shut up, you'd actually see she's a pretty dope person that you actually really will like. And it was just a mutual acceptance. I think you were on vacation, and I think it was kind of like, oh, we're stuck. We're stuck.
Oh my gosh.
And I think it was finally like the third or fourth day.
We came back.
She came back, and we're like BFFs.
I remember saying,
walked into
has
the
a
twilight
paradigm
zone.
shift happened? I remember asking that because before it was like ping pong, ting, 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 in a meeting in the office every day, multiple times a day.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this.
Yeah.
Like, nope, nothing to talk about. Good.
Anyone need to air anything?
Yeah.
But no, it's cool, like, to be able, like, the last 2 years, she's come to lead for me in Canton. And, it's like, that reason, season, lifetime, or whatever. Like, there was a point that I was like, oh, she's a season. Like, you're talking about the stages of grief. And that's kind of like, for me, how friendships work. Like, I have to figure out, like, I got to tiptoe the waters. And it was like, it'll be cool until it's not. Like, it's okay. And then it was like, oh. And then one day it was like, nah, this is life for me at this point. Like, now I'm the one that's like, you're stuck with me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, but it's just the way life happens. But to be able to sit and hear the things and the way you've grown, the amount you've grown, the steps you've taken is absolutely unreal. That's cool.
Dude, that makes my heart, like, hurt and feel good at the same time. That feeling of, like, envy or jealousy that we feel as human beings, no matter what, whether we're in the rooms or not.
Yeah.
But the fact that we have the ability, the awareness, the tools to deal with that and pinpoint that, how amazing is that? My brain never worked like that before.
No.
Ever. Like, I couldn't even figure out what I was feeling on a day-to-day basis. But to break down, this is why I'm feeling this way.
Yeah.
And this is what I need to do to change it. Here's my solution.
Just do it.
Just do it. That's amazing.
It is.
Mind blowing.
You two amazed me at the fact of how animosity isn't the word, but it was clear that y'all didn't like each other.
Right.
But you guys put principles in front of personalities on a daily basis with what we were dealing with. You guys showed up every day, and we dealt with some shit.
Oh, yeah.
We dealt with death. We dealt with things on a daily basis that most people don't. And you guys showed up, you had each other's backs, regardless of whether you liked each other or not, and we took care of what we needed to take care of on a daily. And you guys, for the most part, you didn't whine about it.
Right.
You know, there was our venting sessions,
Yeah.
but you guys showed up and took care of business regardless. And to me, that principles before personalities is easy to say. It's not easy to do. And you two did it on a daily through very rough circumstances and times, through all the stuff that we dealt with on a daily basis, and never knowing what our schedule was going to be or how long the day was going to be when we showed up. And you guys did it. And it was absolutely a pleasure to witness it.
Before I got here, I was actually talking about you and everything, you know, with me moving forward, I would like to call it, in my career. I was talking about everything that you gave me.
Yeah.
You taught me how to be a professional. You taught me how to sit in my shit, even if it didn't feel good. When I wanted to run, because I'm a runner.
Track star.
Track star. Not in real life, but
No, yeah.
emotionally,
No,
track star.
absolutely. In my head all day. All the marathons.
Yes. Like, you gave me everything that I needed for when you move forward. I was able to give other people the gift that you gave me. And when we talk about in the program, giving it away to keep it, that is so widespread. Like, that doesn't even apply. Like, that statement applies to a work-related thing, a day-to-day, giving it away to keep it. Give your quarter to someone at Aldi's because it's going to come back to you, kind of like you were talking about earlier. If you give out love and appreciation and hope, you're going to get that back. And that is so freaking beautiful. You gave me everything I needed to be successful and to be who I am right now. And the shit that I had to go through to get here, it's been a lot. It's been a lot of shit I had to deal with. And without you guys by my side, you know, you don't know what you had until you lost it. That's the perfect way to put it.
Yeah.
And not that things were unbearable, not that things were not doable, but I wouldn't have been able to do the things I've done to this point without you guys.
Yeah.
Period. And now I can kind of like take you guys as an example. Part of the reason why I have the courage to do what I'm doing is because of you guys. Watching you flourish and grow and be happy, and I want that. Come on, man.
I want to bebop. That's what you told me
I'm jealous of you.
I want to bebop around.
Yeah. I
was like, you bebop.
Yeah, I want to, you know what? And it's not that what I'm going to be doing is going to be, there's going to be stress to it. That's something that I learned.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes, I love this saying, the grass isn't greener on the other side. The grass is greener where you water it.
Absolutely.
I've ran the well dry where I am. The grass is green. The grass is growing. It's time for someone else to pick up the lawnmower and all the things that they need to maintain the grass. And it's time for me to water something else that needs watered because somewhere the grass is brown. And I need to be the person in my life and in my journey, you know, I need to be the person that comes over and waters it, you know, just like you guys did. Where you guys were, it was brown. Now it's green, and I want to be that. I want to do that. you know?
That's it. Practicing these principles in all our affairs.
Yeah.
That's, it doesn't, people think it's just in a meeting. When I talk to new people, it's like, well, I sit in the meeting and I listen and I'm respectful and I'm quiet and I'm not on my phone. And I'm like, cool, love that for you. However, for me, it's not from the Serenity Prayer to the Lord's Prayer. It's what happens the Lord's Prayer to the Serenity Prayer. That's where it's at. Like, cool, anybody could, well, most people, not anybody, but most people can sit respectfully for an hour. But that leaves 23 hours of you being an asshole. And, it's...
What's your ratio?
Yeah, I try to keep mine 24 as I can. I have my moments, but that's practice these principles in all our affairs, because when it comes down to it, the substance isn't our problem. We're all aware of that. Substance isn't our problem. The drink isn't our problem. Our behavior, our brain, our thoughts, our actions. That's the problem. You need to change those, and you get real life situations, and that's where you get the practice. That's where you get to, is it the rubber meets the road?
I like that saying. I like the way you just said it. So just matter of fact. Yeah.
It's I get, there's a lot of people that I'm like, dude, I mad respect you. And then I'm like, okay, I'll hang out with you outside of a meeting, which is not something I do often, hang out with other people. And then I'll go to dinner with them, and they're hooping and hollering and laughing and joking and being obnoxiously loud. And it's okay because this is sober fun. No, you're still disrupting a whole restaurant of people. Your actions are still being disruptive. And you're masking it. You're justifying it by saying, well, this is sober fun. And I'm like, nope, nope, can't do that. Nope. And they'll ask me why, and I'll be like, listen, that's not how I act in public. I don't disrupt everybody around me on the guise that I'm sober.
Isn't that just, I don't know. I feel like the saying, so what? I'm sober.
Yeah.
So what? I feel like that can be used in a good context and a bad context. For sure.
Everything has duality.
Yes. If I'm using that, so what, I'm sober, to justify my shitty behavior, who cares?
Just another excuse.
Yeah.
You're just perpetuating the stigma.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah. Those
Like-
people, or the,
Yeah.
the stigma that gets put on
Exactly.
people like us. And I understand the stigma, right? Because I was part of the stigma, but I'm also part of the solution, and I want to show that side. I want to sit where people like us can't go, That is my goal. I want to be where people like us aren't normally typically welcome.
Yep.
Because of the life that we lived is so taboo to people.
They're afraid.
Yeah.
It's fear that drives us to push away things that we don't know. And it comes at us in various forms. When I would have never admitted that I was afraid. It was, I'm better than you. I have this overwhelming belief that so many people on this planet, we are all the same. There is such great sameness, yet we're afraid of the symptoms that come out, the methods that we use to cover up the sameness, because that sameness can be destruction. It can be a corroding thread. It can also be glorious. But that sameness, we just use different methods. I found a certain substance that worked for me. Somebody else finds another substance. Somebody else finds things, and somebody else finds stealing or sex or whatever
Right.
to cover up those feelings of inadequacy, those fear feelings. And then we're all afraid of one another. Oh, I can't associate with you because you like to buy too many CDs. You've got a buying problem, so there's something wrong with you. As I sit back and drink, several bottles a night. It's where am I going with all this? I have no idea. The a sameness. There is a great sameness between all of us, but we're programmed to see the differences. I'm sitting back and just observing and watching, and I see such a great sameness happening right before my eyes. And it's good for me to remember that you all work together and cohabitated professionally together. And what that tells me is that each of you shared with one another pieces of your organic self. And then you were each able to consume that, digest it, and make it a part of yourself. And now I can see it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see it, but I'm sitting here like watching a show over here and I'm witnessing it. How cool is that? That we can watch ourselves grow inside of someone else. Watch that green grass just come up. It's green wherever you go,
Yeah.
if you choose to see the green.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
I believe that 100%.
Yeah.
Because there's days where I'm like, this and you and I'm done. And then there's days where I'm doing that bebop around, like I just got some really good news, or I got to see the light come on in somebody else, or someone told me something good that happened to them, because I actually care about stuff like that now. When other people tell me the cool things that happen to them, there's nothing like that. Because I'm like, the promises, the promises, the promises. And sometimes the way that my brain is retrained, it kind of gets on my nerves. Does that happen to you guys?
Bruh.
You're like, I've seen too much. Like, close it. The third eye, close it. Like, you feel awake. Like, you know how conspiracy theorists feel? Like, that's how I feel. Not about, like, the other stuff, but, like, I feel that way about myself and about life. Like, acid did not do this to me.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
Like, this is the best trip ever. I've said that 100 times, and I've tripped more than that.
She said that with her whole chest, bro.
A whole 10 strip has nothing on this. Like, nothing at all. It's like, sometimes you just want to be, like, unaware for a minute.
Yeah.
There was a meme. I don't know if you guys like memes. Yeah, I mean, but I don't know. Sorry.
You're fine.
I don't know about you guys liking memes, but one of the ones I've seen recently said, I wish I lacked critical thinking skills. Y'all seem so happy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, that's the one. I'm
Oh, I get
sharing
it.
that.
That's a dig.
Yes! Get the shovel! It's so cute when, like, you process something and then you get it and you're like, yes, I got that.
You know what's super cool though? Like, we're talking about like professionalism and like friendship and recovery and the things. And like that is not something, like, that's something we've got, not being braggadocious or anything, but that's something we've gotten to give you. Yeah. Like, her and I, let's help you understand sarcasm. Let's help you understand these jokes. And because that laugh is like, man, laughing in recovery is the coolest. Real, like, laughing. And, it just, I think, and I told you this the other day, that I know you made a hard decision. I made that hard decision. She made that hard. We've all now made that hard decision. And I know, especially for you and I, like, that's where we learned professionalism. Like, that's where we got to grow up. And it makes it a little extra hard that you're like, I feel like I'm turning my back on everything that was given to me. But listen, I can't, get comfortable being uncomfortable. You know, I can't grow if the water's stagnant.
Something just clicked in my brain. So, by me moving forward, I'm also like moving forward with the relationship that just ended. Because I was there when that began. I was there. I grew up there as a person in recovery, early in recovery. And then, 2.5 years later, that's where I landed a job. And like, that's like cutting ties. Letting go peacefully, like really flipping the page. Not just skipping a paragraph like I have been doing.
Yeah.
And I'm sure like you guys felt like that too,
Yeah.
Like it'll get better. You tell yourself it'll get better. Things will be different. I'll feel different tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes and something else it's like piling on, And you're just trying not to let it get to you or trying not to let it affect your home life. That affected my home life. That affected my relationship. The phone would ring. He would get resentful. I would be gone. It really opened my eyes. And not in a bad way. Do I regret any of it? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I would not trade it for a second, and I wish things were different so I could remain where I'm at. But your soul, your intuition, your internal self, when it's time to move, it doesn't be quiet. And that's what I'm talking about. Go to sleep. It doesn't work like that. When you become self-aware, they don't warn you what it's like. They don't warn you about that gut feeling just not leaving you alone. You get physically ill, like physically sick, got a bellyache, get a headache.
Comes right up in your throat.
Yeah, constant nauseous, feel like you have acid reflux. I don't even have acid reflux, and for the last week, I've been feeling pukey, just because of everything that's been going on in my life, and I now sitting here, I'm now connecting the pieces. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's amazing. I've been struggling with that, and
You just got uncorked.
Wow, that's amazing.
She about to sleep so good tonight.
I'm about to say,
And it's gonna splatter. Just saying, the uncorkedness doesn't just happen in the area you think you uncorked.
listen, I'm not even gonna need melatonin tonight. Like, I'm gonna sleep like a baby.
Yeah, you are.
Don't close your third eye. Don't do it. Don't be tempted. Don't be afraid of it. Don't. My opinion is, I'm afraid of everybody and everything, and I'm afraid of myself too. And I start having these realizations and these sightings, and all these things are happening. I'm like,
Right.
you feel me?
Yeah,
Okay.
I definitely feel you. We're all like, yeah.
Be the light, be the change, be that. If everybody around us is like, you're nuts. Uh-huh. My opinion is, don't close it. Just wider. Just keep stretching it. Just keep stretching those eyelids wider and wider and wider, and the potential to see more exists, and then to understand more about, why am I feeling this way? Everybody's judging me. I feel like everybody's judging me, so I should shut this eye. Well, there's something to understand beyond that. It's my ego that wants me to shut it. My ego goes both ways, up and down.
Absolutely.
And my ego wants me to shut my eyes so that I can fit in. Don't be fooled. I don't want to go back to sleep. Wake me up. It was so hard to be woken up because I had no idea I was asleep. And finally I'm awake, and I'll convince myself. My disease wants me back, and it wants me to take you all with me. So it's going to convince me to go back to sleep. It's going to tell me the things. My ego knows me better than I know myself. My ego's been around for eons and generations, and it knows the things to tell me to fool me into sleep again. Don't go to sleep. There's so much to witness and behold and learn and take in. And the language is so different than anything I've ever experienced before. I'm learning through. It's like so I can take my finger and point it at somebody and say, I want to look at you through my finger. How does that happen? How do I look at you with my finger? There's no eyeball in my finger. How does that happen? That's kind of like the knowledge that comes. It's happening in limbs and places that I had no idea existed.
Yeah.
Don't close the eye.
Yeah.
Stay open. Stay awake. Let it in.
Yeah.
Because then we can be the example, and I may learn how to wake someone else up. Because what do you say to your best friend? They de-atomize you, send you into your best friend's dream. They're stuck in a nightmare, and they do not know they're asleep. And they say, okay, we can save this person's life by sending you, their best friend, in. You need to convince them that they're asleep and that if they wake up, everything will be fine. So they de-atomize you, they send you into someone's dream, and they're convinced that this is reality. You're in a dream, buddy. You're in a dream. Oh, yeah, I know. Watch out for that pterodactyl. Watch out for that lava pit. You're in a dream. What do you say to your best friend? What do you say to convince them to wake up? I don't know.
I have no idea.
Yeah, let's keep the eyes open.
Yeah.
There's more to learn.
Whenever they say it takes 3 years to get your marbles back and 5 to shoot them, I always wondered what the fuck they were talking about. I'm like, you guys are weird. Like, what does it even mean? What marbles? I don't even know where my marbles are at.
Bingo.
There it is. Yep. Now I'm like, okay, I understand what you're saying. Every time I see a certain individual, I'm like, I'm on to you. I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting down. Yeah. Man. As I'm thinking about things like just everything that's got me here.
Don't forget that you guys picked up the stuff laid down. Don't sell yourself short on your recovery.
Oh, yeah, no.
Because you could have just bobble-headed everything, and you didn't. You guys picked it up and ran with it.
Yeah.
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 There's grace and there's action. There's grace in our free will, in my opinion. And that grace, that gift of God, and our free will is pick it up and run with it, or f*** it. But it takes both. Where the precipitation happens, no change happens without our interaction. Nothing happens without our interaction. We can lay there, and just hope everything changes or comes to us and everything else. You can have all kinds of awesome freaking magic carpet rides, and y'all know what I'm talking about. Magic carpet rides. But if you stay on your carpet and just keep riding and don't apply it or do anything with it in your life or to share it, nothing happens.
Right.
So it is an interaction between that grace, that free gift from our power and our free will to pick up those understandings the best you can and run with them and experiment with them. You guys picked them up and frickin' ran with them.
You know what's crazy? So did you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. You gave that to us. Mm-hmm. Because we watched you do that. And if we didn't see you physically do that, we heard about it. And that empowered us. Because when you hear something and you're like, man, that's what you went through in that moment. That's some tough shit. Like, I'm totally blown away by that. Like, the courage that you had during those moments prepared me for the courage I had to have when things happened, Because they don't prepare you. They don't say, hey, this is what you're going to run into. I wore wedges. Do you guys remember that?
I did. Don't you worry your pretty little face. I absolutely remember that. And I absolutely remember I talked mad shit about you when I got home. I was like, this little bitch.
Listen, I don't even wear wedges ever.
She was like, I just wanted to make you. Dresses and wedges. Ma'am, you are sorely mistaken in what your life is about to become.
Nobody warned me. Nobody said, hey, you want to go home and change? Everyone just said kind of, hey, you know what? We're here now. Let's see how it goes.
Let's roll with it.
Let's roll with it.
And sometimes it's those things that you said specifically, like action. we saw a lot of action. I saw action in you. I know you saw, like,
Yeah.
we saw action in each other, and it motivated us all. But that's, we could have told you. We could have told you.
You
Sure.
think I would have listened anyway?
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. You know, that's one of those things. How many, the four of us sitting at this table, you know, how many times in our lives did somebody tell us something that we can look back now and be like, oh, yeah, that would have been, that would have been real helpful. I would have listened to that, motherfucker. Like, that would have been real helpful, but here I am. Because, you know, that, obviously we're all aware that I'm in the therapy thing, and like thoughts and feelings are separate, and what your body feels, like you can have a thought, but unless our bodies remember.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been like, I did used to look back on a lot of those things. I'm like, I could have saved myself so much, and so many other people so much pain and heartache if I'd have just listened to one suggestion. If I would have just said yes one time. I didn't. And it's because it wouldn't have mattered. It would have just been a thought. My body, I have to physically feel it to remember. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we could have told you, Doug, that might not be a good idea, and you would have been like, oh, they're just, like, they just don't understand fashion. Or,
It would have went over like the backpack suggestion.
exactly.
Break your neck with every other thing, and then here you come and got a backpack.
Yeah. It's, but you know, we all have to find out for ourselves, whether it's work, life, like, recover. We have to have the experience ourselves.
Yeah.
To be able to continue practicing that and to be able to give it to somebody. You know, I say a lot of things. I listen to a lot of leads, and I say a lot of things. And every time I try to, like, if I know specifically it came from a lead, I'm like, I can't remember who it was, but I know I was listening to a lead. But it's just not osmosis. Like, if I remember something in a lead, it's because something I applied to my life and I practice in my life that my body has the experience of. Otherwise, it's long gone. Because, yeah, that used to piss me off. I'm like, I'll tell her, but I mean, it's not gonna matter because exactly the backpack. Like, and she was so mad when she came in. I was like, oh, you got backpack because I'm annoying, and I was like, oh, and it's like mine.
I think it's so funny. Listen, it is so funny that like I was so late to the party about stuff, and you guys like thinking back on it now, you guys just let me be me, you know.
Yeah.
I really had to learn, but man.
But that's
God, that's funny.
You have the experience, and because you have the experience, I'm sure there's been things since we've moved on that you're like, you've probably tried to tell people, and it's gone right over their head. And you're like,
Absolutely.
okay, I guess you're just going to have to live and learn.
Yeah.
Because we can't. I had somebody tell me that about something completely different, but we have to start replacing the bad memories with good memories. And that means I need to physically, like, as I am able, bad memories. For her, motorcycles were bad memory. Biker gangs, bikers, bad memory. She was at a 12-step retreat. Big old biker said, get on my bike. And she was like, absolutely, I will not be. And she got on the bike, and he drove through the hills and the trees, sunny day, great day. Gets back tells her, get off my bike. And he said, did anything bad happen? And she was like, no. He said, you don't have to be afraid of that anymore because we replace those bad memories. You know, because we have to give our bodies that experience. There are some things that we can't replace them. We can't. It'd be cool. I wouldn't be an absolute show. However, but you know, it's all about what our nervous system holds. And yeah, I bet you felt like your life was in danger 1 or 2 times in your wedges.
Self-induced danger.
I promise we didn't stop.
Those steps. Oh, and you want to know what's really funny about this whole thing? That third eye awakening substance was the root of that problem. As we're talking about that was the whole cause of why we were packing up and backing out,
Yeah.
and I was on the steps and wedges. That created a new pathway for me to say, you know, ain't it great to be sober?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, that's funny.
Thank you for joining us. We're so glad that you came. Love, light, and hope. That is the message. How do we give? How do we do? How do we love with no expectation of return? Stay tuned. We'll be back soon with a new episode. We really appreciate you being here. Have a wonderful day.